Good evening and welcome to the Cecil County Council Legislative Session Day number 13-12 on Tuesday, June 18th of 2013. Please join with me to pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 3 public hearings scheduled for hearing tonight. One of them has been withdrawn, resolution number 46-2013, which was an amendment to a land purchase agreement. That will not be heard tonight. That will be rescheduled for some other date that is unknown at this time. The first public hearing we have tonight is resolution number 42-2013. This is amendments to the Cecil County Employee Manual. Mr. Massey, would you read this amendment or this resolution, please?
Resolution number 42-2013, a resolution to amend certain sections of the Cecil County Employee Manual, Section HR 1A, Cecil County Overview, HR 2B, Employment Types, HR 2E, Background Investigations, HR 2L, Separation, HR 6B, FMLA, HR 6C, Funeral Leave, HR 6H, Personal Floating Holiday, HR 6J, Sick Leave Insurance, HR 6L, Severe Weather Conditions and Unforeseen Designated Emergencies, HR 6M, Vacation Leave, HR 6N, Workers' Compensation, HR 7H, Direct Deposit, HR 7L, Healthcare Coverage, and HR 7R, Sick Leave Bank, introduced by the President on behalf of the Human Resources Department, introduced and order posted May 21st, 2013, public hearing scheduled on June 18th, 2013, 7 p.m.
Mr. Wine, do you want to describe this amendment to the council and to the public?
Director Nichols is here to provide a summary.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. As we have discussed on a couple of occasions, there are several amendments that we're recommending to the Policies and Procedures Manual at this time. As Mr. Massey outlined, there are several, but I will just highlight a couple of those, and if you have questions about any of them, I'll certainly be happy to answer those. Probably the biggest change is due to the Affordable Care Act changes that are taking place in January, where 30-hour employees need to be offered health benefits, 30 hours and up. So for us, that's an addition of about 11 people that are eligible. Obviously, until we go out and do open enrollment, we won't know the total cost or who's going to take that benefit. But I believe the Finance Department has done a fiscal note regarding that. The funeral leave policy is a slight change. Addition of 2 personal floating holidays. We currently have 3, if you recall. This would take us to 5. They're on an annual basis, calendar basis, excuse me, and they are use it or lose it. It would replace some of our sick leave issues that we have that are somewhat unlimited. I'll leave it at that. And the severe weather policy is recommended for a change. Currently, as you know, if the county closes for any reason, the employees that are not essential would not be paid. And the recommendation is that the employees that were not essential would be paid if the county was closed, and that employees who did have to work it because they were essential would get another leave day in place of that. A recommendation to, we currently have carryover vacation leave in the fiscal year in the amount of 240 hours of vacation. We're asking to increase that to 280 hours of carryover from one fiscal year to the next. And sick leave bank, currently employees give donate to the bank every year a day of sick leave. The request is that they could donate a day of vacation or personal or sick to the bank if they did not have a sick leave day to give. Those are kind of the highlights.
Mr. Wine, has a fiscal note been provided for this bill, or resolution?
Yes,
Has it been provided to the council?
it was provided to the council manager for distribution, yes.
Does anyone have it?
It should be in your packet, is it not?
Does anybody have it? I have lots of them for the other ones, but I don't have one for this one. Do any of the council members have a fiscal note for this resolution?
There are copies out front.
2013.
On the back of the copies in the front lobby, we can get them if you're missing.
Is it there? Let's see, Mr. Robinson, can you summarize the fiscal note of these amendments?
Let me ask Craig to do that if I can, the budget manager.
Briefly, the approval of this resolution would have fiscal impacts on the county government. The total estimated fiscal impact would increase expenditures by $164,511, largely due to the increase in benefits eligibility resulting from the Affordable Health Care for America Act. As Ms. Nichols indicated, we estimate that 11 employees would be eligible to pick up health, dental, and vision using the maximum eligible benefit, which we estimating, speculating that would be $152,911 would be the increase in cost. The other item within the proposed resolution that has a fiscal impact is under the severe weather conditions and unforeseen designated emergencies. It has to do with essential employees who are required to report to work or at work when the government closes will receive up to 8 hours additional personal leave accruals for hours worked during closure. That replaces language that stated previously will not receive additional compensation and with up to 8 hours additional personal leave. Based on the types of individuals and employment categories, people that will become eligible for that, they are largely in the 24/7 operations. That could be upwards of 80 individuals depending on the nature and duration of the event, and they would be eligible for up to an 8-hour leave accrual, again making assumptions. Total estimated fiscal impact of that item would be $11,600 based on an average hourly rate of $17.79 for those that could be affected.
That would be per event. 11,000 change per event.
Per close day, right? I mean, I believe we've checked to see how many times in the last 10 years we've closed, and I think it's less than 5, so.
Are there any questions from the council regarding this resolution?
Mr. President, I would like to say I have 2 more comments. One is that, I think I mentioned at our work session, but both unions were present as part of this, the review process for the policy and procedures and have agreed to the changes as well as it has been reviewed by our labor attorney for efficiency as well.
Thank you. Any questions from the council members regarding resolution 42-2013? Hearing none, I'm going to open it up to public comment. We would like to hear from the public. All these resolutions are out on the table. Hopefully you've read them. The council has been briefed multiple times on this issue, so that I'll explain that for lack of questions. But we will entertain comments from the public, either for or against this resolution. We'd like to keep your comments short, civil, and respectful. Address your thoughts directly to the council members. And I guess by a show of hands, is there anyone that's speaking in favor of this resolution? Raise your hand, please. Is there anyone present that would like to speak against this resolution? Please raise your hand. Anyone? Okay. Any last minute questions from the council? Okay, then we'll close this public hearing regarding the resolution number 42-2013, amendment to the Cecil County Employee Manual, and this will be tentatively scheduled for consideration on July 2nd. The second resolution for public hearing tonight is resolution number 47-2013. This is the policy and procedures for Cecil County Council. Mr. Massey, the county manager, would you please read this into the record?
Resolution number 47-2013, a resolution to adopt the council's policies and procedures pursuant to section 303E of the Charter of Cecil County, introduced by the council president on behalf of the council members, introduced in order posted May 21st, 2013, public hearing scheduled on June 18th, 2013 at 7 p.m.
Okay, Mr. Massey, I guess for the benefit of the council and the public, would you go into a little bit more detail on what this resolution is and what's the purpose?
By charter, the council is entitled to approve a set of rules, resolutions, or procedures and policies. And so, modeled after other county councils, I believe even before I came, there was a beginning start with this, and we've taken several work sessions to go through additional policies and procedure to include, that goes a little bit more detail in the charter in terms of how our council should be operated in terms of meeting logistics and meeting generally, our preparations for a meeting, how we conduct business, and then a few of the unusual procedures such as executive nominations and rezoning.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council members regarding resolution number 47-2013?
Well, I'll be voting against this when we do vote because of a number of policies and procedures I don't think is in the best interest of how the council operates. And one of those is where we're getting our fiscal note. I have mentioned quite a few times about the need for an auditor, but also the county attorney is representing this council, and I think according to the separation of powers and charter, we should have our own legal representation. So that's just two of the items on there.
All right, for the record, this is a draft that regulates the behavior and actions and policies and procedures of the council. This does not affect other entities, departments, executive staff. This has to do with the council itself. We are anxious to hear from the public if they have any amendments or comments. I know that we've been working on this as a council for a long time. Not everyone is happy about everything, but I think we've reached consensus on most of the issues. And I will open it up to the public. If you have any comments, this is not a question and answer period, but we will allow the public to say good things, bad things, or recommend changes to the policy and procedure for the council. So is there anyone in the audience that'd like to speak for, against, or have comments regarding the policy? All right, Mr. Carabetta, you want to start?
Sure. Mostly comments. Quite an extensive document. The first thing, assume they can find it. Under reimbursable expenses, paragraph.
Can you give us the page number, please?
Sure. Page, if my eyes will allow me, page 5, paragraph 1-6, subparagraph A. I think you may want to add
under that first sentence, schools, because if my memory serves me correct, at this time of year, a month ago, you folks are going out and presenting official certificates and awards to deserving students, and I think that should be a reimbursable, and it's not specifically called out, and in my business, when something's not called out, it's dangerous. So, I would suggest adding schools or some language to that effect in that paragraph to cover that, and I think that should be, reimbursable, seeing you're asked to present an official document. Page 9, paragraph 2-5, emergency meetings. I think this is probably the most dangerous thing in this document. Without a definition of what constitutes an emergency. I think it needs to be called out what constitutes an emergency. For instance, in tonight's meeting, I see there's an emergency legislation for changing the sewer hookup fee.
That's been changed.
That's been changed?
Yeah, they introduced it this morning, and I had the same concern as you. They've introduced it as a resolution, and in fact, there is a definition of emergency.
Hold it, this is the, Joe, you're at the.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's my same comment, whether it's been changed or not, I was looking at the website earlier, and there's so much stuff on here, I didn't pick up that it was changed, but I don't think that constitutes an emergency. If Seneca Point Sewer Plant was backing up, and you needed to pass some bill or something, that would constitute an emergency. I think a definition is in order of what constitutes an emergency. I think this would be used in a way that's not advantageous to the taxpayers of the town.
Joe, we have an addendum to that which defines what an emergency would be.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the openness on the part. Let's see. No later than 3 weeks. Except for emergency legislation, no bill may be scheduled to be heard sooner than 3 weeks after its introduction. It seems to me he's been doing it on 2-week intervals. So I don't know why that 3 weeks in there, but maybe someone would like to explain that. There's just a lot here. I will look at that, Mr. McCarthy, and see if the definition seems to, I don't see an addendum about emergency definitions or anything in my copy, so that's maybe something I didn't receive. But if you'd like to provide that, I would appreciate it. That's all I have on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Carabetta?
Thanks, Diane Carabetta, Carter's Point, Caryville. I would have to agree with Councilwoman Brumel, and I'll run out between the next two things. In Forbes magazine this week, there's an article about a wonderful horse training woman who embezzled millions and millions from their county to fund her own things because there were no audits done. And I wholeheartedly agree that there should be an auditor. Okay, small detail on page 4, under the definitions, emergency under number 6 needs another quote in front of me. I would like to see you add on page 6D, expenses for tolls and parking are eligible for reimbursement. Mileage, I'm sorry, C, mileage not to exceed the IRS rate. In the past, several times the IRS has actually lowered the rate, not in the recent past, but in the not too distant past. They actually lowered the rate like partway through the year because prices went down for gas. Page 7, under council budget 1-9D, and on the previous page 1-6F, they seem to be redundant. The council president will review and when appropriate, approve expenses, reimbursements submitted by council members. Council manager will process these expenses in the financial system. And D says exactly the same thing. I'm not sure if it's necessary to have both of them. On the next page, page 8, under 2-1, legislative meetings, the council president may add to a designated legislative session day agenda, subject matter, an activity that is in the powers and duties of the council to perform. Prior to that, or in another section, it talks about that everything is to be on the agenda by Thursday night, I think it is, to go out to the public on Friday evening. So I'm just wondering, does that mean you're planning to add things at the last minute, or is this, it's not clear as to whether everything must be in by Friday in order for people to have time to review it? And I too am wholeheartedly against the county executive, the tail wagging the dog. I think there's enough of that going on. And I would like to receive a phone call regarding any emergency meetings, just like they have emergency management here. The water's high, it's going to flood. Close your windows, there's a storm coming. Hello, we're having an emergency meeting, and it's located at blah, 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 blah. If you would like to attend, please feel free to attend. I would like that. You can keep the other ones, I don't care about them. On 2-7, council decorum, I see this as you're setting yourself up for failure. If there's one thing that I love about Cecil County, it's that people are passionate here. They're passionate in favor of things, against things, and standing up for their rights. And to have things that say, for example, council members will always use language and tones that are respectful. And I've seen everyone, including myself, use language and tones that are probably not as respectful and civil as they could be in a moment of passion. Okay. And then 2-7, you'll devote your time necessary to foster productive and respectful communications. Does this mean that council members will discontinue calling their hound dogs to then attack other council members in public forums? Or is that still going to go on behind the scenes? And council members will be on time for meetings. That's fine. You know, suppose you're in an accident. What happens if you're sick to your stomach and you can't quite make it there in time? Okay. G. Council members value diverse perspectives of members and will endeavor to keep debates focused and productive. I love that. That's great. They will not resort to personal attacks in the heat of the disagreement. How in heaven's name are you going to stop that? Terry Moore repeatedly attacked Diana. If you go back and listen to the tape. Sorry, it's right there. Okay. Chapter 3, meeting logistics. Meetings scheduled by council to convene at a location other than the county administration building may be authorized by the affirmative 3 council members. I would like to know how much notice. Like all of a sudden you decide you don't want the other 2 members, so you change the location with an hour or less notice. So I'd like to see you add how much notice. 3-3, council attendance. Council members must be present during roll call vote at a legislative meeting in order to cast their vote. The different conventions I've attended, it is within the members' prerogative to call for a roll call vote at any given moment. So I would like to see, like, if someone's running late because they're in a car accident or they're sick to their stomach and it was roll call, if they would not be disincluded from the vote. And that perhaps an additional roll call could be called. 3-4, copies of the bills. Tonight we can get them for free. Are you keeping the extra copies so that they're available if somebody needs a free copy, or are you throwing them away and then charging them copies? And can you put them on the website? That would be appreciated. Under minute meetings, meeting minutes. public participation at meetings. Due to safety concerns, the use of placards, signs, and/or banners will not be permitted in the council meeting room. Does this include tourism because they came in with their signs? Does this include other people? Many times there's displays up here of signs and placards. This seems like, might be something that we might want to remove. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A lot of work obviously went into this.
Diane, we have a copy of that, please, I wasn't able to catch everything.
Sure.
Mr. Reason?
Alreasin, 632 Economy Road. Mr. President, you indicated initially that this is conduct for the council, not for the audience. I remember attending Robert's Rules, where it was indicated that the audience is to be given a lot of leeway, the council not so much. I've noticed recently, as in the past, but during the council time, that there have been attacks by council members on citizens attending meetings. I do not see in these orders, call it which you will, code, that anything will be done to stop them. If the person who is attacking refuses to stop, which has happened numerous times. So I would suggest that something be added to the rules that allows escort of a council member from the meeting, that meeting only, if they refuse to stop the attack. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in or against?
Ron Caldwell, Elton, Maryland. I totally agree with Al, everything that Al said, and I haven't read the rules, but I would like to see follow-up, because I know that sometimes your gavel doesn't seem to work. I would like to see follow-up, and I would like to see if the personal attacks continue. I mean, you're supposed to be up there conducting county business, not making personal attacks against citizens. And that's what the citizens want to see. And some council members have made these meetings a laughing stock, and I think the citizens are tired of it. They're supposed to be leaders, role models, discussing business. So I would agree with Al that, you need to take it a step further and include something in there to follow up. Thank you.
Mr. DeFreitas?
Bill DeFreitas, Elton, Maryland. I agree with everything the last two speakers said. I think that what the council decorum section lacks is tooth. Mr. President, you and I have talked, and I've asked you to get a sergeant at arms in all of these meetings. The meetings do turn into embarrassments for the county. The decorum section, especially the part of personal attacks, like there was tonight at the Citizens Corner, and you and Dr. McCarthy need to cease. Personal attacks on the audience need to cease. This decorum part of your procedures needs to be enforced, not laughed at, not turned around, not spun, but it needs to be enforced. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I see a hand in the back?
Good evening, Jackie Gregory, Elton, Maryland. I just want to agree with what the last three speakers have said, and I would like to see the level of professionalism of the meetings brought up a level. I think when things, as we've seen in the past, occur, it is an embarrassment. It should be an embarrassment for members of the council. Some people don't seem to be able to be embarrassed, but I know as a citizen I'm embarrassed for my county when I see that kind of behavior going on, and I would like to see it stopped with these new rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. McCann?
Carl McCann, okay. I would like to to point out the fact that in going forward with your definitions of expenditures, in the very recent past, when an inch has been given, a mile has been taken. Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing no comments, further comments or hands raised, we will close this public, sorry, Mr. Allison.
I do have one thing I'd like to add. Claire Campbell, who is the county council's rezoning attorney, drafted a letter that I'd like to include in the record for her, that asks that the council consider rendering decisions on rezoning matters the same day that the hearings are held.
Last chance on public comment. We'll close the public comment section of this hearing, and I'm going to ask Mr. Massey to schedule a work session or a workshop, depending on the workload at our next meeting, next Tuesday, for consideration of the public comment, input from Claire Campbell and any other council members that have some amendments, so that we can seriously consider the public comment and all the other input that we received tonight. So, any last questions or comments from the council regarding resolution number 47 of 2013?
Mr. President, I just have one. Section 411 of the charter is titled County Attorney. And it says that the executive shall appoint a county attorney subject to confirmation by the council. The county attorney shall be the chief legal officer of the county, conduct all the law business of the county, be a legal advisor to the council, and be the legal advisor to the executive, all departments, and other instrumentalities of county government. The county attorney may, with the approval of the council, employ special legal counsel to work on problems when the work to be done is of such character or magnitude as to require services in addition to those regularly provided by the county attorney. The county attorney shall serve at the pleasure of the executive. This is written into the charter. So the fact that Mr. Allison, who is the county executive's attorney, is also our attorney, is in compliance and required by the charter.
Thank you.
Wanted to add that it's at the discretion of the county council to hire those personnel that we need to get the job done. So I would say it's a matter of interpretation as to if using the county attorney is getting the job done, or we have to hire our own.
All right. Resolution number 47-2013, the policy and procedures for the Cecil County Council. I'll call this public hearing closed, and tentative consideration scheduled for July 2nd, 2013. And we will be meeting again to discuss all of the costs and comments presented tonight. The next item on our agenda is approval of the meeting minutes for June 4th of 2013. This was the legislative session day 13-11. All the council members have a copy of the meeting minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the meeting minutes provided? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes for June 4th, 2013. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call for the meeting. We don't need to do a roll call. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes, or approving the motion for June 4th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved unanimously. Meeting minutes are approved. The next item on our agenda is public comments. We would ask that you spend no more than 5 minutes to bring to our attention any items that we should be aware of. This is not a question and answer period. You can only make comments. Do not expect a response from the council members. Please address your comments to the council members and try to make them respectful and civil. The first speaker will be
alreasin.
Alreasin, 632 Conowingo Road. 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to slaughter the poor man's name, Mr. Gracious was present during the Citizens Corner as well as the legislative meeting, pleading his case for the medical facility at College Crossing, fairly close to the college. Gerasimos. I'm not going to say it again, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, apparently he had went to the appeals board and was denied. And I remember the discussions that were held sometimes past when this code change was made, that something like this would seem to be not a problem. I would suggest that members of the council represent this gentleman based on the word that was given to the citizenry at the next time. I'm assuming that he's going to appeal, so that they support him. I know where the facility is, and I see no problem with putting a medical facility, especially right there at the college where it may be needed with all the students that are there. There was also a challenge recently to the county attorney's actions regarding the York Building Product settlement. There was to be a meeting to look at what had taken place previously. I have yet to hear a resolution of that, and I think it is needed, whether you do it in your comments or not. I think the citizens need to know what happened and whether the statements that were made by council members were accurate. Thank you.
next speaker, please.
Joe Carabetta.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Council, council folks. A couple of things that have come up in the past, both in the paper and here in this public forum. One, I read an article in the paper some weeks ago about that we were going to kind of try to coerce potential bidders into buying certain products from in county. Well, that's nice, but I think last time I checked, there were all 5 were Republicans. And the only way you're going to get business is to be competitive, to be an open market, and not coerce people to buy within the county. So I think that's not a wise way to go. The other items is the symbol change here in the county. 2 weeks ago we discussed changing the county seal. I think there's more important things that we heard tonight to talk about than the county seal. Whether it's 2 kitty cats mauling something, or the ducks flying away, or dollar signs, whatever you want to make it, it's fine, but I don't think we need to spend money. Before the meeting, I took Councilman McCarthy out and showed him 2 metal plaques that I'm sure cost quite a bit of money. They're out here on the brick wall that would require changing. I think we can work on other items. Now, talking about the Carpenter's Point issue, which is on the hearing tonight. I think that the taxpayers down there, first of all, let me start with a little history, because we were getting a little history lesson I received in my email from a certain group in the county, saying that about when people were there. Carpenter's Point was the first permanent settlement in Cecil County in 1658, settled by John Carpenter. So the people were there before York Building Products were there. And the residents down there have rights of protection, and I think this language is in the comprehensive plan. And to voice this potential on the citizens, I think that the decision was made correctly. The surrounding zoning is NAR, and that this should be maintained, and this case should go forward. As I said last week, You're snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Now let's talk about ethics and conflict of interest and transparency. I'd like to start off with some definitions. Ethics. In philosophy, the study and evaluation of human conduct in light of moral principles. Moral principles may be viewed either as standards of conduct that individuals have constructed for themselves, or as a body of obligations and duties that a particular society requires of its members. Conflict of interest. Noun. Situation in which a person has a duty to more than one person or organization, but cannot do justice to the actual or potentially adverse interests of both parties. This includes when an individual's personal interests and concerns are inconsistent with the best for a customer, or when a public official's personal interests are contrary to his or her loyalty to public business. An attorney, an accountant, a business advisor, realtor cannot represent two parties in a dispute and must avoid even the appearance of conflict. He and she may not join with the client in business without making full disclosure of his or her potential conflict. She must avoid commingling funds with the client and never take a position adverse to the customer. Now, transparency, we talked about and heard about it at all levels, federal, state, local. Quality of being able to see through material. And I'm going to close with this. In life, you go down the road, and sometimes you come to forks, and there's the left side, the right side, the wrong side, the good side. And then, at somewhere down the end of that road, you reach the end of the road, and you call home. People are going to remember what people did. And it's not sometimes what they did and what they didn't do. And you're remembered by these things. So I want you, on some of these votes here tonight, if you have a conflict of interest, do the honorable thing and recuse yourself from the vote. And I think you'll earn a lot of respect from the citizens and taxpayers of this county. Thank you.
Bill DeFreitas. Jim Lopez. Ray Solomon.
Ray Solomon, 1376 Carpenter's Point Road. The main thing I came here tonight was about the traffic lights. Somebody told me that they're planning on installing traffic lights and widening the road at Carpenter's Point, which I'm against. I moved here many years ago because I wanted to be in a rural area. I didn't want to be in a city. And this is the start of being the city. The more you improve that road, the more traffic it's going to get, the more houses they're going to build, and the worse it's going to be to drive down there. And traffic lights are just a part of it. We didn't need traffic lights. And if you're too impatient to wait for a clear shot at driving down the road, and you want a traffic light, then you need to wait for a couple of years before you live here. And I'm really I'm going to have a housing development in my front of my house. And I don't know when, probably a year or two. And I don't want people to come down here and think that they have a highway that they can drive to their house in. I want them to think it's a rural road, so that we won't have these discussions in the future. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to talk about was York. Now, I have no problem with York existing. I think it's a great idea because if they weren't there, they'd be putting up 3 more housing developments. And it would be another city to deal with. The only objection I have is if they decide to run dump trucks up and down Carpenter's Point. I don't see why they would, but it's entirely possible that somebody might decide that's a good idea. As soon as they do that, then I can see where people would be upset. I've lived in other areas where they had gravel pits or sand pits, and that was the major concern. And I know you were discussing sewage fees earlier. Now, my feeling is that we should raise them up as high as possible because the people that are already here will be affected because they're hookup fees. The people that will be affected are the people that are coming in from somewhere else. And if they know about it in advance, they'll include it in their mortgage so that it won't be a harshness that it would be to raise the fees on the people that are already getting service. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Diane Caravetta.
Diane Caravetta, Partners Point. The Forbes article is Rita Frundle. She was a quarter horse owner. She raised some pretty good quarter horses in her day. And she was the comptroller of Dixon, Illinois, which is a working class city of nearly 16,000 people, most famous as the boyhood home of Ronald Reagan. Ms. Crundle embezzled over $53 million because there was no auditor. And when we went to charter government, we did away with the separation of financial and executive branch. So it's all one now. So I wholeheartedly support having an auditor. Okay. I'd like to congratulate President Hodge that his fiancée was appointed as the chairman of the chairwoman of the chamber. It's actually the chairman, according to Robert's Rules of Order. With her friendly, sparkling, outgoing personality, she's sure to be a success. And as you well know, I have extreme heartburn with the Carpenter's Point rezoning. And a friend recently sent an email with a little quote at the bottom. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? Mark 8:36. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Barbara Myers.
I have a question. Is it appropriate that I can speak and comment on the rezoning that's an old business, or is that already
You can
taken?
you can comment on anything you'd like.
Okay, this is in reference to the rezoning at 2758 Augustine Herman Highway. There was an argument 2 weeks ago that people were against it due to the fact that this was a scenic byway. This is a business corridor from the bridge to Bennett's. All businesses are on the road frontage in this area. There is a closed wine and spirits building with grass as tall as a human. To me, this is not a pleasant and appealing for the scenic byway. Is this what the community wants to see? Another vacant building. There's another Dollar General on this scenic byway, and so why is this an issue, and why should it be an issue? It looks better to have a business there rather than a vacant building. Dollar General is coming to Chesapeake City. There is several pieces of property that they're looking at, so it will be, they are coming. Again, I stated 2 weeks ago that this was a business for a business. This is commercial property, and people are fighting, and they're going to, we want to know, are they going to fight any commercial business that tries to open here? Would Maria's and Apos fight a pizza shop? Would someone else fight a liquor store due to the fact that there is another liquor store? Would people fight a bar? If the community used the scenic byway to stop the Dollar General, like I said, they're already looking at 2 other pieces of property. They want the property at 2758 Augustine Herman Highway. It's their first choice. This was a business that was owned for 46 years. The only thing the community is doing is hurting the family who has served the community for over 46 years. There's a benefit to the Dollar General coming to this area. It's going to bring in, it's a benefit for the community and the county. It's going to bring in a tax base. It's going to bring in jobs. The business now is closed. Jobs were lost to that. It will help aging community members that are in our area that are unable to make the trek 10 miles to Elgin or to Middletown. It'll help out with them so they're a lot closer to be able to get to these services. So, just asking the board for their approval on this rezoning, and I'm going to leave this message. A woman who has served the community and helped everyone for 46 years passed away Wednesday. She was buried with her husband. She left this world hurt by the very community who she had served. Her heart was filled with pain. She couldn't understand why or how this could happen to her, one who gave so much. May Jackie come and rest in peace.
Next speaker, please.
Donna Cavell.
Donna Caldwell, Elton, Maryland. Just want to say, I spoke a few weeks ago about Carpenter's Point, but I just want to add a few more words. Just here to protect individual property rights, and I stand with those of you that support individual property rights. There was a lot of bad decisions made by the last council, and you have a chance to undo that damage. This should have never been an issue that wasted thousands of dollars of taxpayer money on another lawsuit. This is your chance to right the wrongs that was made by the majority on the last Board of Commissioners. I'm asking that you do the right thing and restore your building products after its original zoning. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Kevin Forster.
Kevin Forster, Alton, Maryland. Thank you, Mr. President and Council. I'd like to express my views and things for the council to approve rezoning for property on Old Herman Highway. The vote or opposition would be Maryland has declared that road as a scenic byway. As a resident of the state of Maryland my entire life and have driven many scenic byways of the state, I would much rather see a business that is, again, bringing jobs, bringing in tax money, bringing business to other businesses into the area than a closed, decaying building on the side of the road, a major highway, major artery for the state of Maryland that has also been declared a scenic byway. Businesses in Upton face the same dilemma as far as it's a scenic byway that goes through a town. Elton has just recently opened up the Paris Foundation right on that scenic byway that has no tax base, that has no tax-paying customers. It is another route for the homeless that are in the area. I would much rather see a flourishing business than another empty business or a business that has no tax base, no people just hanging outside, littering, destroying, damaging properties. Businesses are normally well maintained. They employ numerous persons. I think that the county would be far better served by having a business that brings in money than empty, decaying building on the side of the road that is, again, a major artery for the area that would best be served. I think it would be best if the county to allow the zoning. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Linda Miller.
Linda Miller, Davenport, Florida. See if I can get this out. What Corinne said, I said. I don't live here anymore. I was always proud to call Chesapeake City, Cecil County, my home. It's on my name tag where I work now. Not sure I'm proud anymore, but my dad died on the 9th, which was Sunday, and I spent 2.5 days watching my mom die of a broken heart. Not only because my dad passed, but because of the way the community treated her. It's a little strip of property that should have been made commercial when it was bought, 20-some years ago. It was an oversight. I don't care whose oversight it was, it doesn't matter. It just wasn't done, and it should have been. She sat there and she said, how can you do this to me? How can you do this to me? I've given them everything I've got. And Wednesday she died. Of a broken heart because of my dad. Of a broken heart because of what the county was doing. So, please forgive me, but please reconsider or consider making that rezoning to commercial. And another thing is, as I drove in from Florida, I came up through Cecil and I saw that Dollar General. That's a nice looking building. It's a better looking building than what's there, either one of them. So, thanks.
Next speaker, please. So that ends the public comment section of our agenda. We're going to move on to comments from the council members and the president. Councilwoman Bolton, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I do have
President.
a comment.
I got here late, didn't get a chance to sign in. Now speak.
Harold, can you wait?
Till when?
Next week?
No.
Okay, keep it simple and respectful, please.
I don't have the same rules as everybody else?
Yes, everyone is civil and respectful.
Thank you. Harold Mechanic, Elk Neck, hello, council. I'd like to apologize for my absence last week, or last meeting. I'd like to speak on the zoning change at Carpenter's Point. I believe that the zoning that was changed from had been in effect as long or longer than most of the objectors have lived there, first of all. This is like buying a riverfront house and objecting to boat noise, or moving next to the drag strip and complaining about the race noises. We're buying a house next to an airport, and I live next to someone who fancies goats. They don't smell like roses. However, I live in an area where farm animals are part of the zoning. If I objected to them enough, I would not ask them to get rid of their goats, or to persuade a commissioner and her posse to break the law and change the zoning just to force my neighbor from getting rid of his goats. Point being, the zoning change at Carpenter's Point was done illegally, and there is provisions for changing zoning, and it wasn't followed. And I would like to see the zoning at Carpenter's Point reverted back to what it was legally. Thank you.
Councilwoman
You live in
Volpe.
Elk Neck, you don't live on Carpenter's Point Road? I've lived there my whole life.
Thank you, Mr. President. I attended the,
Hold on. Member Harold, please take a seat.
I attended the Commission on Aging meeting on June 12th. The commission is doing tremendously good things. There's new business opportunities with the healthy option programs. They're getting a United Way grant for the Living Well program. The budget status is good. They're going for a 50+ grant with the American Association of Community Colleges. So there's a lot going on. July 3rd, the buses will be running 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, I believe. And they'll be running from Glasgow to Elkton as well as Perryville to Elkton. So a lot of good things are happening there. Our Department of Aging and Community Services is a really very viable organization that we should all be very proud of. The other thing that I have is to address Mr. Reason. After last Tuesday's meeting, we did sit for 2.5 hours and listen to a lot of tapes, because it was actually the May 7th meeting where the statement was made that was in question. And on the tape, it clearly states, and I took it down in shorthand, that Jason Allison said, "It is my assumption that you have been fully briefed." Is what he said to that's what he said to us. He said that he had told the residents that it was his assumption that the council had been fully briefed. And that was the statement that was made. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Brumel?
Yes, it's amazing because I sat through that same meeting, and what I asked Mr. Allison before was why was it that the Carpenter's Point residents that he met with had the assumption that we had been fully briefed, and they had said that's what he had told them. So when I had asked Mr. Allison in closed session his response was, well, it was my assumption that they had been fully briefed, and he had went back and talked about the briefing of all of the cases, at a much earlier time. So, I think in what I saw, it was leading the Carpenter's Point people to believe that we knew about this, and we clearly did not know about it. I wanted to clarify that certain comments about accusations that the Carpenter's Point rezoning process was illegal is totally false. We followed the correct protocol. The York Building Products brought their property.
Did you compensate him for the downturn?
There you go, remove them. Follow your rules, Mr. Hodge.
Audience members, let the council members speak.
There you go. So, this is good, because, Diane Carabetta, I shouldn't be calling out names, but a person who's previously testified is correct. These rules, I have an anticipation, are not made to keep decorum, it's to control. He'll randomly enforce, and what do you do then? Okay, so let's get back to the Carpenter's Point rezoning. They spotlighted their property. The public had an opportunity to weigh in, and they did a tremendous job. They researched on what were the criteria of what a rezoning, or what is the adequate zoning for that time, that period. And they used the water resources element. They used what was in the area for that time. They did a great job. Mr. Allison admitted they did a good job. And now we're going back and undoing all of that. And it happens to be at the leading of someone and a few other people that took money from your building products. And I also would encourage those that took money from your building products to recuse themselves from this vote.
And also Carpenter's.
There you go.
Mr. DeFreitas, no.
Take them out.
Audience, please.
Yeah, let's go this way. Yeah.
Trust me, couldn't even come close. County seal. We have a huge problem. Number one problem in this county is drug abuse. What are we doing looking at county seals? I've gotten a lot of feedback. People don't even like the way the old county seal looks. I think there's enough history that goes along with what we have now. And I'd like to see that fiscal note. Okay. In Calora, one of the people that I have long admired, I think was a great example of building up a community and preserving history. She passed away, Hazel Jenkins. She was 90 years old. And there were over 100 people that came out and honored her life. And I think we need more people like that to, Hazel was a hellraiser, and if she thought something was wrong, she would stand up and fight for it. So we need more people like that. Not fighting for what is benefiting you personally on the bottom line, being motivated by greed, but what is in the best interests of the county. I'd like to see more of that. I did have 2 lengthy responses and about Seneca Point. I feel that our DPW director, I know our DPW director has withheld information and has misrepresented information to the council about the real extent of the Seneca Point expansion ENR upgrade. I'm going to post this on my website because it's going to be at least 10 minutes to read through all of this. The other is, I think, another abuse of power by our county executive. She interjected herself right before a key vote on the Ethics Commission in removing a member. So I'll have, these posted on my website at dianabrummel.com, and, that's all I have to say for now.
Councilman Dunn, do you have anything? No. Councilman McCarthy?
No comments.
Just a couple corrections. As far as I know, the county has no plans to install traffic lights on any county road or make road improvements on Carpenter's Point Road. There is no plan whatsoever. I have no idea where that would have come from, but there's nothing in our capital improvement project list that identifies any traffic lights or road improvements on Carpenter's Point Road. Number two is, we will have an auditor. We will have an we will have an independent third-party auditor that will review our books. We are not eliminating auditors. The request by council, the request by some council members is an internal auditor that would not be auditing the county books. The county books and finances will be audited. It's mandatory and it will be continued. So at the end of the day, the independent auditor is where we're having a discussion, and the majority of the council members do not believe it's necessary at this point in time. To move on, I realize that in Cecil County there are many passionate and emotional subject matters that we deal with, and many of them are controversial with many citizens on both sides of the fence on an issue. And I remember hearing one of our council members say that democracy is messy. Well, that's not necessarily so. Democracy can be very civil, it can be very respectful, and it can be very professional. And it's all how we handle it. And I really hope that we can be civil, respectful, and professional, both as council members and county government with our county executive and the citizens. We can have disagreements, does not mean that we can't be respectful of others' opinions. And I would ask tonight in particular, because we will be dealing with some very passionate subject matters. There are very high emotions in this room currently, and there will be beyond tonight. But that doesn't mean that we have to make it messy. That doesn't mean that we have to embarrass the county because of the bad behavior of certain citizens and or council members. We should be respectful of one another's opinions, and I hope that I can count on you, all of us, to be responsible. That ends my comments, and we're going to move on. Mr. McCarthy has a rebuttal.
It's not a rebuttal.
Okay, what is it?
Basically, this is going to Carpenter's Point. I was going to repeat this at another time, but I think now we
Can we
can
discuss this when we get to Carpenter's? If you like, that's good. Okay. We're moving on to introduction and consideration of resolutions. We're going to start with the introduction of several resolutions. Many of them are budget amendments. The first resolution is 59-2013. This is a budget amendment from the Sheriff's Office. Mr. Massey, would you please introduce this resolution?
Resolution number 59-2013, a resolution approving an amendment to the annual budget and appropriation ordinance for Cecil County, Maryland for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013, to provide the general fund with additional expenditure appropriation authority to receive an increase in federal funds of $13,502 for the overtime expenditures incurred by the Sheriff's Office. Introduced by the Council President on behalf of the County Executive, introduced in order posted on June 18, 2013, and scheduled for consideration July 2nd, 2013.
Mr. Wine or Mr. Robinson, do you have anything to say regarding this resolution?
Mr. President and Council, Mr. Whiteford can present descriptions of these budget amendments if you desire.
Do any of the council members have any questions regarding this budget amendment? Hearing none, we will move on to the next resolution. Resolution number 60-2013. This is also a budget amendment of the Sheriff's Office. Mr. Massey, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution number 60-2013, a resolution approving an amendment to the annual budget and appropriation ordinance for Cecil County, Maryland for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013, to provide the Cecil County Sheriff's Office forfeited funds fund with additional expenditure appropriation authority to receive an increase in forfeited funds of $22,503 upon action by the Cecil County State's Attorney to release funds to the Sheriff's Office, introduced by the Council President on behalf of the County Executive, introduced in an order posted on June 18, 2013, and scheduled for consideration on July 2nd, 2013.
Do any of the council members have any questions from the staff regarding this resolution? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next resolution. Resolution number 61-2013. This is also a budget amendment regarding Haven House, a non-profit agency. Mr. Massey, would you read this into the record, please?
Resolution number 61-2013, a resolution approving an amendment to the annual budget and appropriation ordinance for Cecil County, Maryland for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013, to provide the general fund with additional expenditure appropriation authority to receive an increase in federal grant funds of $18,702 for the FY 2013 Haven House Grant, introduced by the Council President on behalf of the County Executive, introduced in order posted June 18, 2013, scheduled for consideration July 2nd, 2013.
Do the council members have any questions regarding this amendment? Hearing none, we'll consider the resolution introduced and we'll move on to the next budget amendment regarding family vision and family services. Mr. Massey, would you read it into the record, please?
Resolution number 62-2013, a resolution approving an amendment to the annual budget and appropriation ordinance for Cecil County, Maryland for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013, to provide the general fund with additional expenditure appropriation authority to receive an increase in state grant funds of $12,000 for the FY 2013 Family Division Family Services Grant Program in the Circuit Court Administrative Office of the Courts, Department of Family Administration, introduced by the Council President on behalf of the County Executive, introduced in order posted on June 18, 2013, scheduled for consideration July 2nd, 2013.
Do council members have any questions regarding the introduction of this resolution? We'll consider this resolution introduced and move on to the next resolution, number 63-2013. This is a reappointment or a new appointment by the County Executive to the Board of License Commissioners. Mr. Massey, would you read this into the record, please?
Resolution number 63-2013, a resolution to confirm the reappointment by the County Executive of Timothy Snelling to the Board of License Commissioners, introduced by the Council President on behalf of the County Executive, introduced in order posted June 18, 2013, scheduled for consideration on July 2nd, 2013.
Do the council members have any questions or concerns about this resolution? Hearing none, we'll consider this resolution introduced and we'll move on to the next resolution, number 64-2013. This is an appointment to the Electrical Inspection Agency.
Resolution number 64-2013, a resolution to confirm the appointment by the County Executive of First State Inspection Agency to be an electrical inspection agency in Cecil County, introduced by the Council President on behalf of the County Executive, introduced and order posted on June 18, 2013, and scheduled for consideration on July 2nd, 2013.
Are there any questions from the council regarding this appointment of electrical inspection agency?
Currently, how many inspection agencies do we have for the county?
Mr. Conway?
2.
This would be 3?
This would be the 3rd.
And I remember a lot of testimony arising out of competition with inspection agencies. Other jurisdictions have experienced this where the integrity of the inspection could be lost in place of competition. And I'm wondering, Mr. Conway, I don't know if you could talk about this because it's your county executive that submitted this.
Actually, the Board of Electrical Examiners, there is a process, and under that process, anybody can apply